Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. My name is Paula. I am a 24-year-old single mommy to one baby girl, and I recently graduated nursing school. Yes. So with that being said, I am now on a journey to become debt-free. I accumulated a great amount of debt while I was in school, and now it is time to get her paid down, get her paid off, and that is why we are here today. Today we are going to be cash stuffing my paycheck. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Alrighty, so here we have the money. Let's go ahead and take her out. I hope you guys are having a great day. Let me know down in the comments. I always love to hear from you guys. Let's go ahead and count this. I think I have her on 0. So let's go ahead and count. We have 50, 100, 50, 200, 50, 300, 50, 400, 50. So 450. So we have 450. We have our 20s here. 20, 40, 60, 81, 20, 40, 60, 80. So this is 180. So we're gonna add 180. Now we have our 10s. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So let's add 80. We have some 5s here. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. $30 worth of 5s plus 30. And then we have our 1s. Let's go ahead and count those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and $7. So plus 7, and that equals 747. If you can see here, this is how much we are going to be cash stuffing today. So let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, so the first binder we are going to go ahead and cash stuff is going to be my cash envelopes binder. Let me go ahead and grab her. Here we are. We have her right here. Let's go ahead and open her up. All righty. So my cash envelope binder is going to be the weekly expenses that I have, just kind of like my bills that come out weekly, just little things like that. So let's go ahead and start here. So first we have gas, and we do have a couple dollars that is still in gas. So I just want to go ahead and add these to over here so that we can reuse them. So I have $6 left over from gas. I usually like to put $35 in here, and when I went, the gas was like $2.77, so I was able to go ahead and fill up, and it was only like $28, which was great. So I was happy that I was able to get some money back. Y'all know that I said I use Costco. I have like a Costco membership, and usually their gas is cheaper. However, the Buc-ee's that is around my area, I was able to go there, and she actually pretty much matches Costco. So that was great to know. I was able to go in there, pay cash, so that I didn't have to put it on a cart. So that was really nice to know. So I will be going to Buc-ee's from here on out, especially while I'm trying to cash budget and get my debt paid down, just so that I'm able to walk away with some money that I'm able to kind of show you guys that we're putting, like physically putting toward other things, and not just have it like on the card, because we are using a cash budgeting system. So I want to be able to use cash as much as possible, just because I feel like it helps the feng shui of things. So yes, for gas, we're going to go ahead and put $35 in here, because you never know, the gas prices can go up, they can go down. So I just want to make sure I have enough for a week's worth of gas regardless. So we're going to make sure that we're putting a little bit over the amount. So we're going to go ahead and throw 35 in here. I'm going to do a 20. I'm going to do a 10. And then I'm going to add this 5 back in here. So that is what we're going to put towards gas. I feel like this week I'll be able to use even less gas, just because I'm not working as much, just because like they've kind of put stipulations and rules on nurse externs working on our floor, because they just hired so many of them. So, you know, my work commute is like 40 minutes. So that's 40 minutes that I'm not having to make as often right now. So I'm definitely saving on gas. So Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and move on. We have baby girl. Like I said, these are my weekly expenses with my daughter. My daughter is currently in daycare full time, and then I have her in gymnastics once a week. So I like to make sure that I'm paying that in weekly increments because her daycare comes out weekly, her gymnastics comes out monthly. So I'm able to kind of split her gymnastics up into 4 weeks so that I am able to kind of do it nice and evenly. So baby girl is going to go ahead and get $347. There's nothing left in here because we pretty much cash out every time. So for her stuff, I'm going to go ahead and do 650s. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Put that back. So we're going to get that, and then I'm going to do 2 20s, 1 and 2. I'm also going to go ahead and put a 5 in here, and then we're going to go ahead and put 2 1s. So 1 and 2, and then let's go ahead and make sure this is 347. So we have 50, 100, 50, 200, 50, 300, 320, 40, 45, 46, and 7. So we have 347 in here. So I'll be putting this in here. I also did have to put like an extra 200 in here like a couple weeks ago because they're having, I told y'all, they are like a legitimate school. They run like a private school. It's literally insane. So they have a $200, I think it's like a supply. No, that's the re-registration fee, $200. Wonderful. And then they have the supply fee, like $85 twice a year, plus the weekly tuition. And they've gone up on their weekly tuition. Like I told y'all before, it was supposed to be going down as she gets older, but no, it's basically staying the same, actually went up by $10. So as of right now, her daycare weekly is $330, and then her gymnastics is about $68 a month. So breaking that down, I think that's like $17 a week, and then $330. So that's why it's $347. And this looks like she wants to bust out the seams, so that's kind of making me a little bit uncomfortable because I do not want to rip these. I'm just gonna press this down a little bit. But she's gonna come out of here real soon. I gotta put this in the bank. All right, so anyways, we're gonna move on to wellness. For wellness, y'all know that I have a Cook Unity subscription. I absolutely love it, not gonna lie. I got my first order last week. I do the 8 meals. However, I'm on a promotional period right now, so I think after the promotional period is done, I'm gonna break it down to 6 meals because I'm not actually eating like 8 meals a week. And then kind of like looking forward, when I actually start working as a nurse, we're gonna be doing like day shifts, and I'll probably only get to like 1 meal per day for like the 3 main days. And then if my mom cooks dinner or if somebody orders out, then like I won't eat the meal on top of that. Now you can put them in the freezer, but we don't have a lot of freezer space in this house, so I don't want to have like a bunch of stuff in the freezer. I am allowing other people in my household to like, you know, eat them as well when they're in a bind, if they like need something a little bit healthier or just have nothing, you know, in the house to eat and they don't want to order out. I'm definitely fine with like sharing. So I think breaking it down to 6 will be fine because I'll probably use like maybe 3 to 4 during the week, maybe 6, probably max, but I'm definitely not using 8. But while I'm in this promotional period, I'm gonna take advantage of the 8 because it's still under like $100 a week. So anyways, the first week was last week. It was $50 and not $70. So I took the $50 out, which means that we have an extra $20 left in here. So I am gonna put this over here so that we can reuse this money as well, which is great. This week it is going to be $90. The first week was 60% off, and then I think 3 weeks after it's 20% off for the next 3 weeks, and then it goes to full price. For the 8 meals, full price is like 103, maybe 105 after tax and fees, I think. Something like that, maybe close to 120. So that's why I want to break it down to like 6 meals, because then I know I will stay under 100 per week, and I don't need 8 meals as of right now. As I'm seeing, I definitely don't need 8 meals. So let's go ahead and put $90 in here for this week's Cook Unity subscription. I'm gonna do 3 20s. gonna do 1, 2, and 3. I'm gonna do 2 10s. So 1 and 2. 2 10s, and then we're gonna do 2 5s. 2 5s, and then we're gonna do $1 because it's 91. That's what I like about the app though. The app tells you exactly what's on your receipt. It shows you your itemized receipt. You don't have to go to like whatever card you have it on. You can just see like, okay, this is how much she's charging me every week. It's very, very transparent. And you know, if you're looking for a if you're looking for like a subscription, like meal subscription, and you want your meals already made for you, I would definitely recommend Cookunity. I don't know if I would do like the 8-meal plan like I said. Now during the promotional period, yeah, definitely do the 8 meals or however many meals you can afford so that you can put some away in the freezer. These are all freezable meals. They don't come frozen, but you can freeze them before their expiration date. Your expiration date is like a week out. I would definitely recommend Cookunity. I used ChatGPT to like compare it. I wasn't even considering Cookunity at all. I was considering Factor. But when I compared it on ChatGPT, I was like, I need you to give me a list of some good meal service kits. I honestly don't want to cook any food myself. I want it to be pre-prepared. I want it to be cost effective, and I want it to taste good, but I also want it to be flexible in terms of like different dieting styles, because I need more of an anti-inflammatory diet, which means I can't do a bunch of red meat and stuff like that, like red meat, dairy, all of that good stuff. And chat was like, yeah, you definitely don't want Factor then, because they focus on protein, because they're kind of like gym food. This was chat's words, not mine. It is clean gym food. It's giving like fancy, not even fancy. He was like, it's giving like nice hotel, you know, food vibes. Like that's what it's giving. And he was like, Cookunity is going to have a little bit more flavor. It's going to be more high quality for like what you're looking for, just because like that's what he assumed I was looking for. So that's what he told me to get. And so I got it, and I absolutely do not regret my decision. And I think that if I was on Factor, I probably would regret it, because they're not as flexible when it comes to like the different meals that they provide. Now, if you're like a gym girly, gym boy, definitely, that's definitely for you. But Cookunity also has like GLP-1 like focused food. So like if you're on a health journey, if you're on a weight loss journey, they have foods curated to that. If you're vegan, vegetarian, if you're this, that, and the third, they have stuff like non-dairy. If you want a pasta week, like they have all the things for you. So anyways, let's get back to the money part. I just want to give y'all a little review. This is definitely not sponsored, but like I said, I do like Cookunity, not gonna lie. And I would definitely recommend it if you guys wanted to know about that. One of my subscribers, one of my lovely subscribers commented that they use Factor, and they said that they really liked it. So like I said, if you like, you know, if you're more of like a gym girly and you don't need like an anti-inflammatory type stuff, then definitely go with Factor. I think it's relatively the same price. I think Cookunity is a little bit more affordable though, according to chat. That's what I heard. I don't have a Factor subscription, so I wouldn't know. But Cookunity was what was recommended to me. That's what I use, and I do like using it. So anyways, let's go ahead and make sure that this is $91 for wellness, so that we can go ahead and pay that bill for this week. So we have 20, 40, 60, 70, 80, 85, 90, 91. Perfect. So we're at 91. Sorry, y'all. That was a long little segue. But like I said, I do like Cookunity. It's a great subscription. And you get all different types of flavors that you wouldn't think that you would get. I feel like this is the comparison that I had when I ate it like the third time. I was like, you know what this gives? This gives like fancy restaurant leftovers. Like it's not something that I would cook for myself, and that's what I also wanted. It's things that I wouldn't just be able to make at home, like intricate kind of meals that like I would never come up with. So it's giving like, oh, okay, you went to a nice cute little restaurant and you ordered something that you wouldn't usually order, but it was good, but it's like a little different from your taste palette, but it was still good though. And then you warmed it up the next day and it was still good. Like it's kind of like that vibe. So that's why I like it. And definitely when I'm eating it, like the macros are all there on the packaging, but I was like, was that healthy? Like I'm having to kind of question, like, was that as healthy as it should have been? But that's the thing. Healthy should not be boring. Healthy should not taste bad. And so I'm able to get all of my little health benefits and stuff like that. Make sure I'm staying within my limits as like me as an individual. Not that I'm on like any calorie restricting or anything like that, but I'm just trying to stay mindful. Yeah, it works out very well. Like I said, I'm questioning, like, was that a healthy meal? I can't tell. So I think that's kind of good, like, because you know it's a healthy meal. That's the whole point of it. But you're wondering, like, I don't know. I feel like that should be 1,000 calories. But it wasn't. It was 600. So yeah. Anyways, moving on from that, we have spa next. I'm not going to put any money into spa. As y'all see, I went ahead and got my nails done. I did have another one of you lovely people comment that they love seeing like girls or just people in general be able to budget but still have some money set aside for self-care. And honestly, tea, because what do I look like trying to pay $20,000 off and just like slaving away over that? Like, we are not promised today, we are not promised tomorrow. And I'm not gonna just be, hey, here's all the money that I have, let me put that toward my debt. Like, yeah, you get your debt paid off a little bit quicker, maybe a week quicker, okay, and you know what I mean? Like a week or two quicker, okay, and maybe I want my nails done. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't see it being too bad of a thing. I don't do a whole bunch of stuff though. Like, I don't get my nails, my hair done. I don't get a whole bunch of stuff done just because I know I can't afford it right now, just being realistic. But when it comes to some self-care, you need to have some self-care in your life. And so I'm gonna, you know, if I'm able to, like I said, I have debt that I'm paying down, but I'm kind of able to put some money toward doing some things for myself. Because like I said, you're not promised tomorrow, you're not even promised the rest of today. So I'm not going to sit here and be miserable paying off my debt, and then once my debt is paid off, I'm not promised the day after my debt is paid off. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I was going to do this and this after my debt's paid off. You're not even here after your debt's paid off. Wonderful, you got your debt paid off. They got paid, cool. What about you though? This is not me trying to enable anyone. I'm not trying to enable anyone, but I'm just saying, like, you know, if you can put, you know, maybe $100 towards self-care a month. Like I said, I get my nails done maybe every 3 to 4 weeks. I wanted to treat my mom, so I put, you know, $240 towards it last week. It was more than enough. We had 3 people working on us. It came to about 200. And so I gave them all of it because, baby, that's what I allotted to give them. I wasn't going to skimp on their tip because, oh, okay, cool, it wasn't this. No, we had 3 different people working on us. So yeah, y'all can go ahead and get your tip. You know, these people live in the same economy I live in. So God bless. Okay, so anyways, we are not putting any money into spa this week because, like I said, we already got it done, so I'm not too worried about that. Now we have restaurants. I'm also not putting any money into restaurants. Like I told y'all, if somebody wants to eat out in my household, they have to pay. I'm already paying for a food subscription that I'm allowing everybody else to kind of take part in if they see fit for themselves. So I'm not going to sit here and be buying extra stuff on top of that. Absolutely not. I'm trying to lose weight, girl. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do. So I can't be eating out, you know, multiple times out of the week. Okay, I also have to keep my sodium down because, you know, that's inflammatory, as well as my red meat consumption. And when I eat out, I'm eating like burgers and stuff. So I'm trying to calm down on that. I actually have lost 20 pounds. So I'm super excited about that. I weighed myself today. I was like, girl, I look a little skinnier, not gonna lie, but I'm slightly delusional when it comes to my body. Like, I feel like I'm low-key a little reverse body dysmorphic. Like, it takes me a while to see, like, oh, those pounds have really added on to my body. I actually look crazy right now. However, I was like, no, girl, your back fat is looking a little bit slimmer today. So I went and I weighed myself, and I'm 20 pounds lighter than I was maybe a couple months ago. I haven't been weighing myself because, like I said, I'm trying to have a better relationship with food. So I'm not doing too much on that. But I'm 20 pounds lighter. And I was like, wow, that's freaking crazy. I think part of it's the stress. Because my whole last semester, I was a lot less stressed than I was my first 3 semesters. So I think that definitely has something to do with it. And then the fact that, you know, I started working a lot, those 12-hour shifts, that's probably the best diet you can be on. Especially at night when your circadian rhythm is like, girl, we don't eat right now. It's dark. You don't eat right now. It's weird for you to be eating. Best diet you can go on. So yeah, I'm very happy about that. Sorry, I'm having a lot of segues. I'm very much so in a talky mood today. I apologize. You know, I love talking to y'all. I love hearing y'all's comments. I know some of y'all are on health journeys as well. So, you know, just know, you know, we all can relate on these things. So anyways, we have necessities here. I don't have anything that I need that goes in necessities. I've already bought Anora's like Ripple milk that I get her weekly. I've already bought that. And I've already allotted for that like before I started like my cash budgeting. So we're kind of like, I usually buy like 3 or 4, so we're like ahead of the game. So I'm not really worried about any other little things. And y'all know that we have an emergency fund, so I'm not really too worried about that as well. So this is all that we have for our cash envelope. Sorry, that was like a really long segment. I apologize. Like I said, I was in a talky mood, girl. But like I said, I love talking to y'all. So hopefully y'all can relate to something that I was talking about, and y'all let me know in the comments because I love talking to y'all. So anyways, that is it for our cash envelopes. Yes, we are stocked up for the week. I cannot wait to go ahead. I know, it's so crazy. When you cash stuff, you cannot wait to go pay your bills. Like, it is so weird. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and put this away, and then we're going to go ahead and calculate how much we are going to put into our long-term savings binder that has our debt in it. So let me go ahead and put this away, and we'll get into it. Alrighty, so next we are going to go ahead and open this one up right here. This is my long-term type sinking funds type of binder. So let's go ahead and get into here and see what we are going to be putting in here this week. My highest priority folder in here is going to be my debt. Yes, y'all know we got way too much debt to play with right now, so we are trying to pay this off. Also, we were able to have a couple of other dollars saved from not spending it this week. So I'm excited to see how much we're gonna be able to put toward this debt for this week. So let's go ahead and start counting. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on so that we can count these as we go, because math is not my strong suit. So we have 50, 150. So we have 150. So 150. See? Please, let's move this over a little bit so y'all can kind of see. 150. All right, 150. Let's go ahead and count these 20s up. 20, 40, 60, 80. Plus 80. All right. Then we have our 10s here. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. All right, so plus 50. Then we have some 5s. 5, 10, 15. Plus 15. And then we have our 1s here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 1s. Sorry, y'all. I am still getting over my sickness. I'm at the tail end of it. I still got a little bit of mucus. So that's just what that is. All right, so that's plus 5. So how much is this? So we are at a clean $300 that we are going to be able to put toward my debt this week. That is super exciting. So let me go ahead and throw this over here because I already know it's not going to fit in this envelope without ripping her out the plastic. I don't know, I'm sorry, I could not say that. Okay, so we're gonna put this here. So we have 300 here that we are gonna be putting toward our debt. Let me go ahead and get my iPad so that we can go ahead and color all of this in. Alrighty, so here we are with the iPad. So we have $300 that we are going to be coloring in today. I like to use the highlighter feature. So yeah, and then we're just going to zoom in. So we have 300 that we are going to be paying. So I'm thinking, because like I said, we don't know when the next time we're going to be able to put like over 250 in here. So I think I want to color our 250. And because it's an even 300, we can do 2 of these hearts so that it's 25, 25 equals 50. So 250 plus 50, that's going to be 300. So I think that's how we're going to go ahead and color this week. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead and color her up. All right, so we're going to start with this one. Let me move this out the way so that I can color. Alrighty, so I also did, while I was coloring this, wanted to address a couple of like comments and suggestions that I got on either my first video back or my second video back. So in terms of like my debt consolidation, one lovely subscriber recommended, she was like, oh, okay, yeah, have you like considered a personal loan to consolidate your debt? It will help with, you know, your interest rate. So I thought that was a wonderful idea. So literally yesterday I went to the bank and I was like, okay, well, let me see what we can do. I went to my credit union. And I went up there and I was like, okay, cool. Let's see what we can do about this. So I went and spoke to somebody, put in a whole application, and they're like, hey, girl, you haven't really worked for long enough. You haven't worked for long enough. That is our biggest critique on you. Denied. You have not worked long enough. So it is what it is. I wasn't too mad about it because I didn't intend on using debt consolidation anyways. It would have been great because I would have been able to save on interest. But at the end of the day, like I knew what I signed up for when I used those credit cards during my schooling. Like I already knew that, like, okay, yeah, you're gonna probably close to max these out. You're gonna have hella interest to pay back, and that's just gonna be what that is. However, because of your like family situation, your living situation, you're not in a bad spot to pay that stuff back in bulk because, like, you know, your household has already told you, like, girl, you're good. Like, do what you gotta do. And we're not really too, you know, like, we're gonna be okay type thing. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm able to pay it back. And that just kind of, like, had me thinking, like, damn, like, you know, if you're not privileged enough to, not even like privilege, like if you don't have the time or the privilege or whatever to save what you need to save in order to make sure that your schooling is not out of pocket, you get penalized for that because now you have a crazy amount in debt that you have on your name, so that messes up your credit score. And if you have a terrible credit score, you can't get anything. I'm like, that's the cycle, y'all. That's the cycle they be having you in. I'm very grateful that my family is the way that my family is, and we are very much so like locked in. Not gonna lie, we are very much so locked in. We are very much so like generational household oriented to the point where we're like, yeah, we're gonna do all of this together, this, that, and the third. I can't really like get too much into it right now because it's kind of like a long story, and I would want to explain like all of it at once, and I can't really do that right now because, you know, I'm trying to be cognizant of y'all's time. So anyways, like I said, that's just something that I kind of realized, and I was like, wow, that's kind of effed up. Like, if I was really out here on my own with a child, like, that would be so very difficult. So God bless to the ladies and gentlemen that are doing that. And, you know, I'm wishing you guys the best on y'all's journey for school, for whatever aspirations y'all have, because it is very tough out here when you sit there and you realize like, oh wow, you really can't get anything. Nobody really trusts you with anything depending on how your stuff looks. It's crazy. Like I said, I already kind of knew that I was going to have a lot of interest to pay back. That's just the price of doing business with credit cards. I was grateful that I was able to use credit cards, had high enough limits on those credit cards to put my daughter through daycare while I was in school. I was blessed in that regard. Yeah, I have a lot of debt to pay back, but I wouldn't trade that debt for bad grades. Like, if I still worked full time to put myself through school, I would not have gotten the grades that I got, which in turn would probably not allow for me to go and pursue the graduate degree that I want to pursue. You have to be extremely competitive grade wise to get into the degree program that I want to go back and get. So I 100% would never trade my debt for my grades. Sorry, I just wouldn't. That's just me as a like, I just would not. Like, my grades were more important at the time. Making sure that my daughter was taken care of, making sure I had good grades was more important than debt and the interest, because I knew that I was basically doubling my salary by going back to school. So I know I'd be getting some weird comments like, oh, well, you should have done this and you should have done that. First of all, God bless. I hope God heals the hate in your heart, for one. Because shoulda, woulda, coulda, we're not at that point right now. We're here, right? So I get some, you know, weird comments like that, but it's like, like I said, I wouldn't trade having my daughter. I would not trade going back to school and doubling my salary. I wouldn't trade having hella hundreds of dollars in interest, not gonna lie, hella hundreds of dollars in interest for bad grades just so I can get through the program. That wasn't gonna happen. I need certain grades so that I can go back to school and quadruple my salary. You know, quadruple, or yeah, quad is 4. What's the 5th one? Because my salary will be 5 times as high when I go back to school. Anyways, not gonna worry about that. So that's why I'm like, yeah, thank y'all for the comments, them little rude comments. Yeah, we see them, girl. You've been heard. But my mental, I'm content with how things have transpired. It is what it is. Like I said, that's the price of doing business. We are working toward paying our debt off. And then, I'm able to kind of show you guys, like, you're able to do it. If you're not in the best of circumstances, if you don't have the best leg up, you're still able to do whatever you need to do. And if that means quadrupling, tripling, doubling your salary, and then you pay your debt off later, sometimes that's just what you have to do, because I'm not going to stay making half of what I can make in a year's time just so I don't have a little bit of debt. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. That's just how I, go about things. Also, a couple of people were asking me where they can find this debt tracker. So I made this debt tracker and I'm going to put it in the description box. It's a PDF. I think it's about 5 pages long. I can't tell. It's about 5 pages long. So it's about 20 or 20. It's 4 to 5 pages. So it's about 20 to 25 $1,000 debt tracker. And of course you can always erase this, that, and the third. So that's how I use this, and I will put it in the description box so that y'all can use it as well. Because I know some people are asking me, hey, did you make that, or where did you find that, and can I get it? So yeah, y'all can get this. I'm gonna put it in the description box. I'm not sure if it'll let me put a PDF in the description box, but if I'm able to, then I will, and then y'all can download it and have it for your own iPads and whatnot, or print it and color it, or however y'all want to do that. So yeah, I'm sorry y'all, this was a very, very talky video. If you guys can absolutely relate, definitely make sure to leave some comments down below. Like I said, I love talking to you guys. I love having conversations, learning about you guys, learning about your lives, what you guys have planned for yourselves. So yes, that is our budget this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. I always appreciate you guys being here and leaving me some comments. So yes, I will see you guys next week. Bye bye.